for a way to maintain a strong immune system for the incoming fall and winter seasons, not only for yourself, but also your family? Maybe you've heard of tinctures, but not the details of what they do and how to make one effectively at home. Perhaps you're like me, absolutely love plant medicine, are a visual learner that does well by doing if you have clear demonstrations to reference. Let's talk about 3 ways to make immune-boosting elderberry tinctures with items you may already have in your kitchen cabinets. But before we begin, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Alicia Buford, an herbalist and founder of Tree Local Herbs. My mission is to guide the Black community in embracing self-healing through natural ancestral traditions. Together, we'll work to reverse ailments with plants and clear intentions to establish enduring, long-lasting transformational change for minds, bodies, and spirits.
A few moments later.
So we're going to start with the herb that we're using, elderberry. So elderberry is a wonderful, wonderful immune-boosting plant. It's typically the leaves and the berries that you can use, but in this case we'll be using dried elderberry, and it smells amazing. You can probably get it online from big sources like Mountain Rose or Star West Botanicals. There is no affiliation. I am just calling them out, maybe one day. We're also using 3 different alcohols because this is an alcohol-based tincture. You can also use glycerin, or you could use vinegars, but with alcohols, you'll get the strongest extraction from your plant material. So I have here a mezcal, and this is going to be one option. I absolutely love mezcal. This is a little bit more on the, I don't want to say weaker, it's just not as intense in terms of alcohol levels. This one is 47% alcohol, so the potency won't be as high or as concentrated. I also have Ray and Nephew, my favorite. If you've seen my shorts, you've already seen a demonstration of this. And I love Ray and Nephew because 1, it's pretty strong. 2, it also has a very warm spot in my heart. My mom used to use this in all of her baking, black cake, Jamaican household. It's just something that always reawakens some very beautiful childhood memories of eating sweets with my sisters. My mom also used to use this on our scalp after we would do a big shampoo. She would put a little dab on just the top of our crown chakra to keep colds at bay. But yes, this is 63% alcohol. So this is going to be like our medium strength menstruum. We also have Everclear. I've never used Everclear before. This will be the first time. This is 190 proof alcohol. And so what that means is that it'll be a very, very, very strong tincture, but we'll also have to dilute it with some distilled water. And that will not only give us the right amount of benefits from the plant, but it won't completely ruin our plant material. This is the math section of the video. Not my favorite topic, but it's necessary for the work that I do, especially when it comes to medicine making it safe, and making it effective in the right ways. So in plant material, there are certain constituents that are extracted by water and by alcohol. So we want to get the full extraction from both of those areas. So that's why I have these 3 lovely examples here to demonstrate exactly how that works and how that affects potency. So with this mezcal, we're at 47% alcohol by volume. That means that it's 23% water and then 47% alcohol. The same thinking applies to this Ray and Nephew, which is 63% ABV or alcohol by volume, and then 37% water in here. So See that we're still, even though we're going down in height of the visuals here, this is our second strongest in comparison to the mezcal. And then I think we already know where we're going with this overproof vodka. So this vodka is 95% alcohol. That's easy. That's 5% water. So very, very strong. And I will show you a dilution method to get it down more to a 50-50, which is what we're aiming for whenever we make tinctures. We want to get as close to 50% alcohol and 50% water. One caveat here is that I'm going to use the full 63% alcohol for this because it's pretty close to 50%. Might have some people come in the comments and say, don't do that. If you have a better way, let me know. I also love the way this tastes, and I'm totally fine with there not being as much of the plant material captured in the menstruum or the solvent, because at least, we'll have all 3 versions of these available. Different taste profiles, different flavors. Everything's going to be pretty different across the board, but gives us a nice range to work with. So we're going to start with our Bozal. I've never had this one before. Beautiful bottle though. I love that I will be able to use this as a vase because this is actually fully ceramic. Very nice packaging. And I got this also because it's kind of like the highest alcohol level that I could find at the liquor store. And it smells pretty lovely as well. So one other thing to note, whenever you're working with dried plant material, and in this case these are dried berries, you're gonna want to do 1/3 of the way of any container that you use. And then we're also looking to fill the whole bottle, so we're gonna have about 200 milliliters in these guys. I think these are 8-ounce ball containers. You could get this at like any grocery store. I think I got these on Amazon, and they're great because they just make really nicely sized little containers. So we'll open this up. I've already pre-measured everything. Again, 1/3 of the way. This is roughly, according to my notes, 20 grams. And then we would want to fill up this entire thing up to the 200 millimeter mark. It's kind of, you see the 150 mark, and then we go at increments of 50, so that'll be a little bit at maybe at this mark here. So again, we're gonna just pour all the way to the top. And that's that mark here. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, I love the smell of agave. So this is absolutely filled. One other thing to note is I also like to put a piece of parchment paper in between the top of the bottle and the lid that I'm using. These aren't typically what you would get with ball jar, these plastic tops. But I like that they're plastic. I don't actually like plastic in general, but I like that with this one it's a bit more durable, long lasting. I hold on to that stuff for a while, but I also know that plastic is very toxic. We're also using some pretty strong material here with the alcohol, and I don't want that material to leach, or the plastic material and all the stuff, the bad stuff that they put in plastics, to leach into my medicine. So then this is where this comes in handy. We have some kind of barrier between the plastic and our medicine. Voila. So this is our first version of 3. No pun intended with the name of my brand. This is the first version of 3. This is our mezcal. I'm actually going to label this so I don't forget. And you're going to shake it. I'm going to agitate it a little bit. I'm going to put prettier labels on this. This is not even permanent. It's just like a felt tip marker. And then I'll add something to the front. Just like that. Option 2, we're going bigger. So this is 16 ounces. And this is where we're gonna put the Wray and Nephew. So I got a bigger bottle also because we went through our smaller bottles a lot quicker than I anticipated. We put them pretty much in everything. Teas, Oxymel, herbal cocktails? I wouldn't call them cocktails. I think I call them cocktails to make it sound fun, but we're really just taking medicine in fun ways. I'm gonna fill this to the top again with 100% Wray and Nephew. And then that's filling that to the top. And also, by the way, I didn't mention, if you can hear over this pouring, let me stop really quick so you can hear me. This was also filled a third of the way. That's all. Keep pouring. It smells so good. Whoa. Oh, it's like half the bottle. Okay. So there we go. This is tincture number 2. Same idea. I'll do this here. Just placing that over top. And I won't forget what's in here, but just so you can see best practices. Wray and Nephew. Shake it up. There we go. We're gonna put this guy away. So now we're gonna move on to our vodka. As you will recall, or I will remind you, this is very, very strong. And we don't need all this power. No one man should have all that power. I'm kidding. So let's do our sniff test like I've been doing with everything else. Ugh. I don't know if it will smell like anything. It's just grain alcohol. It kind of does burn the nostrils, to be honest. Ugh. Yeah, that's pretty strong. It's 190 proof, of course. Okay. So I'm not gonna pour this directly in. We're gonna do some quick measuring. So the nice thing about this cup as well, one, it has a spout. I think most Pyrex glasses have a spout. And this one is perfect for what we need because it has 200 milliliters written on, you can't see that. Well, trust me, 200 milliliters is on the inscriptions here. So based on my calculations earlier today, we need 45 milliliters of Everclear and 55 milliliters of distilled water to get that 50-50 ratio that we're looking for to really balance this thing out. But because this is 200 milliliters, all we have to do is double. So that means 90 milliliters of the Everclear and then 110 milliliters of distilled water. Don't you love me right now for making this seem so easy? I hope you do. So what we'll do is we'll measure that 90 milliliters. Okay. I'm so scared. Okay. The fun thing about this cup, measuring cup as well, is that all the numbers are rubbed out. So we're just gonna eye and feel, and the ancestors will tell me when to stop. I'm kidding. No, I'm still using logic here. It's kind of not completely rubbed out, this 100 milliliters, so we're just gonna go right below that number. Feel the pressure. Right under there. 90 milliliters. And then we're gonna pour it in. Okay, now we'll move on to our distilled water. That's heavy. Because it's so heavy, I'm going to use this beautiful little ceramic piece. The other thing I could have done too was just put the vodka and the water in here, but I'm thinking about it now, and what I did is already recorded, and this is also the last of my elderberry, so just work with me. That's one way of doing it. There's multiple ways to get to one destination, right? So we're gonna go to 110 now. 110, which means we're gonna go a little over the 100 mark. And then we're gonna pour that here, and if my math is correct, we'll get right to the top. Actually, that was a little more than we needed, which is good. And here we are. Our diluted Everclear. Everyone will be okay. And I'm gonna put some paper on that. Nice and tight. Here we go. Done and done. Shake it up. Now we're going to pre-label. Everclear. Now we're moving on to the label making process. But before we do, I want to explain why we're using distilled water, why I use distilled water at all for our last Everclear overproof alcohol. So the reason we want distilled water is because there are absolutely no minerals in distilled water. We want the purest dilution process possible, so we aim for distilled water versus spring water or tap water. And on to the rest of the programming. When we label our tinctures, there are a few things that we want to call out aside from the type of menstruum or solvent that we use, aka alcohol. I realize I have a living example that I can show you. It's not really easy to read, so I'll read it for you. So I have the date in which the tincture was bottled in this case, but you can also write when the tincture was created. Then I also write the name of the plant material that I use, whether I use fresh plant material or dried plant material. Then I write an intention in quotation marks because those are always nice. In this case, I wrote heal all because that's what this particular plant does. It heals all the things. Prunella vulgaris, or self-heal or heal all plant, if you're curious. Then I talk about what part of the plant that I used. Again, this is just the berries, and this one I use flowering tops and areoles, which is basically all the parts of the plant that grow above the ground. Then I mention the type of alcohol I use and whether or not it was diluted. In this case, 100% Wray and Nephew, and so now you'll see this put into practice. So we'll write the date here. Today is, what's today? Hey Google.
It's Saturday, August 26th,
It's August 26th. All right, 8/26/2023. Then I'm gonna write elderberries. Then I'm gonna say my intention is immune boosting. This also helps if you're making this for family members and you might have a bunch of these and they're like, I don't know what an elderberry does, like my partner, and I'm like, immune boosting, but he doesn't even need me because now it's written on the label. And then we say what type of menstruum we used or solvent. So we say Wray and Nephew. I also want to mention percentage. So I'll say 100%, and then we're all set. That's it. Then I take my label, put it on the smoothest part of the bottle. Can you see? Boom, just like that. And the same idea applies to our other tinctures. With the exception of the Everclear, I would just say that I used 50-50 or close to 50-50 for that ratio of water to solvent ratio. And that's it. One other thing to mention, for all of these, or for the one or whichever alcohol you choose, maybe you only did one version just to make life simple, because we all need simpler moments in life. You want to shake these regularly. I aim to shake them maybe every day or so for the first week, and then you can kind of taper off and it'll do its thing, but you kind of want to shake when you can remember, because you really want to distribute the solvent within this mixture, and also you want to increase the surface area for what gets touched, I guess, by the solvent, and then that obviously encourages more of that extraction process from the plant material. And you will have this sitting in your bottle, getting nice and juicy for about 6 weeks. That is what you want to aim for. I will do another video after this to kind of show what that process looks like when you need to get the plant material separated from your menstruum or your solvent. I need to be more consistent about what I call this, but it's the same idea. Then you can see what that bottling process looks like as well, similar to this guy. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you learned tons from this experience and feel empowered in your own medicine making journey for yourself and for your family and friends. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment box below. And if you enjoyed this video, please share, like, and comment just the same. I accept all love in any form. See you guys in the next one. Bye.